Here's another example of a hypothesis test on a proportion. When asked the following question, which do you think is more important, protecting the right of Americans to own guns or controlling gun ownership? 46% of Americans said that protecting the right to own guns is more important. The Pew Research Center surveyed 1,267 randomly selected Americans with at least a bachelor's degree and found that 559 believe that protecting the right to own guns is more important. Does this result suggest that the proportion of Americans with at least a bachelor's degree feel differently than the general American population when it comes to gun control? Use the alpha equals 0.1 level of significance. So first, check the requirements. Is it simple random? Yes, because again, they have told us that the people were randomly selected. N is 1,267, the number of people that were surveyed. And our P0 is the hypothesized proportion, which is 46% or 0.46. Now we just do the math. So 1267 times 0.46 times 1 minus 0.46. We can just plug that into the calculator. And we get 314.72, which is definitely greater than or equal to 10. So that requirement's fulfilled. Is the sample size less than 5% of the population size? Well, same as in the last problem. There are over 10 million Americans with at least a bachelor's degree. And since there are so many, that means that 1,267 people, now bear in mind these people are Americans with at least a bachelor's degree, is less than 5% of the population. So state the hypotheses. H naught, the null hypothesis, is the proportion equals 46%. And H1 is the proportion is not equal to 46%. How do we know it's not equal? Because they say feel differently. So differently means not equal. Could be more, could be less, just can't be the same. Selecting the significance level, we have alpha equals 0.1, the problem told us. So find the test statistic and p-value. It's 1 prop z test. And so if we go back to our calculator, go to stat, go to tests, pick number 5, 1 prop z test. The sample proportion is 0.46. X is 559. That's how many people believed that protecting the right to own guns is more important. And the sample size this time was 1,267. We said our H1 was not equal, so we need to pick the not equal option. Then we just go to calculate. Remember, Z is the test statistic and P is the p-value. So for our test statistic, remember the calculator says Z, but we write Z naught. It's negative 1.34, and we always just round those to 2 decimal places. And our p-value is 0.1794, and we should say that's an approximation because I rounded to 4 decimal places. And I probably should have rounded to 3, so let's go back and fix that. So based on alpha, which is 0.1, is the p-value less than or bigger than alpha? So our p-value is 0.179 and alpha is 0.1. That means our p-value is greater than alpha. So we do not reject H naught, the null hypothesis. So what is our conclusion? There is not sufficient evidence to conclude at the alpha equals 0.1 significance level that Americans with at least a bachelor's degree feel differently than the general American population when it comes to gun control. There is another example on the next page. You should try to do that one on your own, and I will do it in the next video.